Welcome back to Edge, presented by FanDuel, as part of the Hammer Betting Network. I'm Alex Moretto, joined here today by So Money. We had a close call this morning where I promising everyone that was the last solo show of the week yesterday. It looked like maybe I would have to do a solo show again, as So Money was MIA for a moment, but I think he was just making us sweat, playing a little prank on us. We are great. Very happy to have you back, So Money. Very happy to see you. We need to talk about the weekend, the big under 11 championship, I think it was, right? Yeah, we have a lot of stuff to discuss. I will give you the floor right now. Hopefully you're done celebrating, partying. I think you had a busy weekend. That's why you couldn't make it yesterday. Talk to us. Take us through the game. Take us through the after party. How are the kids feeling? How are the coaches feeling? How are the parents feeling? Everyone must be buzzing.
It was outstanding. So gather around. Let me tell you guys the story. All right. So we are a slow starting team, and one of the focus this game was that we need to get off to a quick start. 29 seconds in, steal the puck from their blue line. Kid walks in, top shelf. Right. It's not that he scored. It's what he did afterwards. Right. So like instead of first going to the bench and doing the line after you score, he goes towards the other side where the parents are, and he starts doing this, right? Getting the crowd into it, right? Like that swagger, I knew at that moment that like just bring it, right? So it was that swagger was unbelievable. Loved it. And then so we actually got up in the game 6-2. It was 6-2 in the second period, playing outstanding, everything going great. And then 6-3, 6-4, going into third period, 6-5, 6-6, right? And at that point, we had taken 2 penalties, and they hadn't taken any, or they weren't called for any. And then with 5 minutes left, we got a goal, stuffed it in, dirty goal, garbage goal, right? With 5 minutes left. But that's what wins championships. It's those dirty goals. You got to be able to pay the price, and our kids were paying the price in front of the net. And then we got called on a penalty. This kid, their best player on that team, number 47, right? He started diving in the game. Now, parents were getting upset for him diving, but I have to look at it from his perspective too. That kid was run into the ground. He's the best player on that team. He scored 5 goals in that game. He scored 5 of their 6 goals, and he was just played the whole game. Just completely running the ground. It was one of those things where this kid was dead tired. You touch him and he was gonna fall, right? So we started taking the body to him, and then Will, like that's what we were seeing, right? Like these kids are like 9-10 years old, and they just played him into the ground, and like that was one of the things. Well, I mean, like that was one of the something our coach said too. Like that's bush league stuff, right? Like these are kids, right? And like you can't just run them into the ground like that, right? So we have really good players too, but like we make sure that we rotate through the team, right? That's the right thing to do at the football.
Bench doesn't get short in the third period.
Only if it's like tied. If there's a couple of minutes left, or if it's a tight game, then then like that's different, right? But like throughout the course of a whole game, right? And like I mean that's not okay, right? You got to look out for the kid as well, right? So then we took a penalty on him. It was a legit call. We took the body to him, but then we got called again for delay of game because the linesman said that we took too long to make the line change. So now there's 3 minutes left, or three and change, whatever, and it's a 5-on-3 for a full 2 minutes. 5-on-3 at this level for any amount of time, it's a goal. It should be a goal.
Yeah.
Right. So, man, our goaltender, like I don't know what got into him in that last little bit here. Like we're talking Grand Fury-esque, right? He gave up 6 goals in the game, but like when it mattered, that kid stepped up, save after save. Like it was unreal. We there were like 3 guys. They were like dead tired because we couldn't get them off on a line change. Right? They were just it was just pure heart. And then we
channeled the slow-mo mojo.
Oh man, like that was like I'm so proud of those kids, right? Like, and like we wanted to get them off. Like, I mean, they were dead tired, but we couldn't make the line change, right? So Yeah, it was it was unbelievable. Just and then I posted the video of the last little bit when like we're all going crazy, and the
Yeah.
situation in the room was awesome. Like just
Where was
so,
the post game? You guys went go to Chuck E. Cheese? Was our Pizza Hut? What happened post game? Just classic Tim's.
no, we went bowling. So
Okay.
so like the whole team went bowling, and like I mean I was telling my son too that like you're spoiled as hell, man. Because the thing is that what you just went through, like it doesn't happen that much in hockey where like all the kids are like they legitimately get along as a team. All the parents like I'm like he's the glue guy in the dressing room, and I'm the glue guy with the parents, right? Like they
Mhm.
just gotta bring everybody to together, they get the energy and passion up. Like it was a great experience, and like he's just I don't know if he's ever gonna experience that again in his life. So I told him that like ev- even like before the game, he was like saying that like, oh dad, I feel nervous and stuff. I was like, you know what, like one of my biggest regrets in life is that when I had these big moments growing up, I was too focused and I didn't take a chance to just sit back and just enjoy it. So I told
Yeah.
him that enjoy this. You don't know when you're gonna get back. You don't know what it's gonna be like later on with like different teams and stuff. Like you guys are here, just enjoy the moment and play your game. And it was just it just worked out great.
That's awesome. Those are some of my best memories growing up.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Hopefully he does get to, experience this a lot more. And they do have many more championships to come. He gets to play with these guys again. But yeah, that's awesome. The video was great. Getting the live updates in Telegram throughout the game was like, oh yeah, this game's over. Like taking it to him, and then you're like 7-3, 7-4, or 6-4, 6-5. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
yeah,
It's great to see you guys won though. That was awesome. The video was great. Very, very, very happy that happened. Did not cash our under bets. That CLV went up in flames. The under was dead within 5 minutes, unfortunately.
yeah,
So
yeah. That just like these kids just like
what are you gonna do?
just got a fire lit in their ass from like from like puck drop.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's great. I wanted to get the full story for everyone there. We will get into tonight's games here. We got 11 games to get to. Quick recap of last night. Last night we had a 2-0 night. We cashed the under in the Blackhawks and Avs under 6.5, and the Leafs minus 114. Hopefully, if you did watch the show and pay attention to everything that was being said, I did talk about how I would be betting that under in the Oilers Sabres game if we got the Skinner confirmation. We did end up getting the Skinner confirmation, so that unfortunately we didn't get it on the show, but that 6.5 plus money. Hopefully you were able to get on that as well. But yeah, a nice night. Hopefully we can channel that into an 11 game slate tonight, where I'm sure we'll have a lot more than two bets. We will get into all of tonight's games in a moment. Before we do, Puckheads, the NHL playoffs are right around the corner, and FanDuel is bringing you the best bets on the ice. Get in the lab when you make your same game parlay by checking out FanDuel's player performance pages that track stats and averages all of your favorite players. Once you know who's cooking, add shots on goal, points, assists, or even goalie saves to your SGP. Miss puck drop, you can still tap in with live same-game parlay and period-specific player props. Right now, new customers can kick off the season with $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just place any $5 bet, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download FanDuel Sportsbook and make every moment more. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC, or 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right, let's start banging out these 11 games here. We will start in Boston, where Charles's Florida Panthers are without Aaron Ekblad to take on the Boston Bruins. Panthers minus 220, Bruins plus 180, total of 5.5, minus 106 to the over, minus 114 to the under. I will lead I will let you lead us off here. So Money, anything on this Panthers Bruins game? Bruins played spoiler the other day against Tampa. Are they going to do it again here against the Panthers?
I think it's a tough ask for them. I thought they played very well in against the Lightning, but and well deserved to get that win. But now you're asking them to play that kind of perfect game again, and that's tough to do at this point for this Bruins team who we know who they are. So it's not. I think it's asking a lot against a Florida team that has been playing very well. And we talked about this last week as well, where Florida, if they're playing well, it starts on defense. And these guys are playing very well defensively. And for most of the season, Boston has had trouble generating offense consistently. Anyways, I do like the under here, but I will ultimately pass on the game just because. I have trouble expecting Boston to shut it down again against Florida like they did against the Lightning.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I had given out the under in this Florida game last week. I think it was, I can't remember who it was against. But yeah, I gave out the under in that game, and then I bet the under myself again this weekend against the Sabres, even with Vanacek in net. These Panthers unders have been like kind of printing money, but I kind of feel like the train has left the station now. We were getting plus money 6 the last few games. Now we're getting, 5.5 juice under. It is a very big market adjustment. Part of that is obviously matchup based here. I do still lean that way, but we've come a long way with the market here. So I do not advise still getting in on this under, even though that is the way I lean. But unfortunately the value's just kind of gone. Those were fun while they lasted for like 3 games, but they are no longer necessarily a value bet at this point. So nothing for us in this first game. We will move on here to the Jackets and the Devils, where I believe we might have a bet, maybe a double best bet. We will see. Columbus plus 140 against the Devils. Devils minus 170. Total of 5.5, minus 140 to the over, plus 114 to the under. So Money, tell me why we are double best betting the Blue Jackets here.
Yeah, I bet them. It's not surprising. The only thing I will say is that I am noticing a dip in their play. Now, granted, we expected that against Florida. It was just that they're not ready to match up against Florida at this point. Maybe later we'll see Florida down the road. We as our Blue Jackets, but they just weren't ready for what Florida's bringing these days. So I'm not gonna get on them too much about that. I didn't think they looked particularly good against the Rangers. They got the win, but it was a game that wasn't really the style that they need to play in order to be successful. Again, it's one game, so I'm not gonna overreact and stuff, but it's something to keep in mind. The Devils, I mean, it's the same thing that's plagued them all year, right? Like when they play well, they don't get the goaltending. It's just the way it's been for them all year. I do worry about them about making the playoffs at this point. I think that they're just not able to get that consistent level of play. There's obviously injuries there. There's the goaltending issues that just go up and down here. But I do worry about the Devils. And with this game, again, it's the pricing that we're getting on Columbus. Even if you think that Columbus is a mid-tier team that's going to have trouble stepping up, I can concede that at this point. That's fine. But New Jersey is not stepping up at this point. Playing the Devils is not the same as playing Florida at this point, or even playing the Rangers, like a motivated Rangers team. So New Jersey continues to drop in my eyes, whereas we just shouldn't be getting these kind of prices on the Blue Jackets. So yeah, I did play the Jackets this morning.
Yeah, myself as well. This might be a little hot takey, but I feel like Kirill Marchenko is the best player in this game, especially with Jack Hughes out. What he's doing this year is insane. Like, it doesn't matter who they put on his line. The way he's driving play and generating offense for everyone around him and elevating everyone around him. Like, you look at what Fantilli's done now that he's gone on Marchenko's line. Unbelievable the way he's playing. It'll be back to Elvis here, which is nice, obviously, as well. They went away from him over the weekend on Sunday, and they still were able to get the win. But yeah, realistically, what this is just the gap between these two teams is a lot smaller without Jack Hughes and with these injuries. I know Connor Jesper Bratt. Yeah, sure, I get it. But like, Marchenko is honestly unbelievable. Well, I think we're going to get to a point where we're talking about him as an elite player in this league pretty soon. We should be already, realistically, but like, I know Brad is great. I love Nico Hischier. I've never been the biggest Jack Hughes fan. He's obviously fantastic if he's not playing tonight, but I just think that's a testament more so to what Marchenko's done this year than it is downplaying the abilities of Bratt and Hischier and guys like that. But yeah, the gap between these two teams is a lot smaller than this market suggests, essentially. I'm overall still pretty down on this Devils team. I don't think the market has downgraded them nearly enough with the injuries that they have right now. I don't think, and Columbus still hasn't been upgraded enough as well. It's basically just a matter of this price being way too high, this number being too high. Yeah, Jack is just such a fun team right now. I think they're continuing to be a little bit disrespected in the market. I do lean under here as well. I talked about the other day how the Devils kind of have to play in these games, but I'm not in the business of betting Blue Jackets unders at this price. So I will abstain from that and just lock in the Jackets here. Yeah, plus 143, plus 140 on FanDuel. There we go. That's good for me. We can lock in that 140 on the show sponsor if we'd like. Moving on to the next game, we have the Senators, fresh off a big win last night. They were not good last night whatsoever. Poor Wings, man. They deserve so much better yesterday in that game. Omar, after I just talked about how he wasn't necessarily playing up to the level he should be at because they were playing him so often, he turns in a heroic effort last night against the Wings. Borderline ends their season. Very grateful as a Habs fan that was not a 3-point game like it was trending to be at one point. But the Sens tonight, minus 118 in Philly, being downgraded quite a bit here on the road in a back-to-back. Flyers that are a bit of a mess right now again. Minus 102, total of 5.5, minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under. So Money, how do you feel about this game?
I'm just laughing at Charles' comment. Yeah, that's
that was.
When I was watching that, I actually thought that like my TV might have been not synced with like what was happening, right? And like it was clearly after the whistle, and like I'm like, am I missing something here, right? But yeah, it's that was funny. This game. So I think that you touched on it a bit. Ottawa has been downgraded. I think it's too much. Yes, they're on the road and they didn't play well. But the fact that they didn't play well actually wants me to bet them in the situation because their game yesterday, the way that they played that game was not the way that they've been playing, right? So I'm okay with considering that an outlier at this point as opposed to something that I'm kind of concerned about moving forward. Now, if they don't play well again tonight against the Philadelphia team that they are better than and they should be beating, then yeah, that's going to be a concern for me. So right now, I'm not concerned. Yes, we'll get the downgrade in goal, but they should beat Philadelphia at this point. There's a lot of stuff that the Flyers are going through. Tortorella doing his thing, which is not surprising. But Ottawa, I think we've been discounted too much here. So I did play Ottawa. I like them up to what do I like them at? Up to minus 115, I believe. Yeah, Ottawa up to minus 115. I like that.
So, which is widely available as well. Yeah. I agree. I'm on the Sens as well here. This is both a bet on Ottawa and bet against Philly. I had one thing I wanted to say, but I just want to address this now that I just saw this come through. Ottawa 29th in the league, last 10, expected goals for at 5-on-5. A lot of that is down to the fact that a lot of those games are played without Pinto, without Norris, without Tkachuk. they were very injured coming out of the Four Nations break. They did not have those guys for a number of those games, so those stats are obviously going to be a little bit skewed. Once they got those guys back in the lineup, they started playing much better. Now, obviously, last night was not a ringing endorsement for this team, but I think, to So Money's point, that that is a good thing, because now you're going to get a much better effort. I'm sure they got into the room last night and it wasn't all celebrations. I'm sure Travis Green was very unhappy with that performance and is going to expect much better from them tonight. I think there's going to be a response for sure. And the Flyers look completely dead again. They looked dead before the Four Nations. They got a little bit of rest and they got that break. They came out stronger. And now they have gone right back to where they were. I think this team has basically packed it in on the season. I think they're kind of toast here. Too much of a downgrade. Forsberg's fine. I'm not overly concerned with him being in net here. So yeah, we can lock in a double best bet on the Senators, as well, as the line kind of takes a little bit right now. So you're probably going to want to get that one in sooner than later. And yes, Cousins, we did get the Cousins goal last night for the anytime goal parlay as well. It was a good call, Jordan, him on PP1, and he scored on the power play, of course, as well there. I will say, I feel so bad for the Sabres. Like, Cousins coming out and being like, oh, it was so nice to be like cheered and appreciated like that. It's like, man, the Sabres didn't like not appreciate you. You didn't give the most amount of effort either on a lot of those games. I love him. I think he's going to be great in Ottawa, but like, it's also like, I feel like these guys are just using Buffalo as an excuse at this point. Like, they're stuck there. They're miserable. They're not playing. They're not doing anything, kind of going through the motions. And they get out of there. They're like, yeah, so much nicer to be in a team that appreciates me. It's like, well, dude, you weren't appreciated maybe because look at the results that you guys are putting forward.
So counterpoint, right? Like, why do all these players feel like that in Buffalo?
I think the organization and the vibes around that team and building right now are just so overwhelmingly negative that it's not the fans. It's just it's more just the franchise, which is completely fair. But I feel bad for Buffalo fans, right? I don't feel bad for the team necessarily. I feel very bad for Buffalo fans. That's because like, oh man, it just took to have to sit there and watch like the mismanagement and watch like superstar after superstar leave, not necessarily superstars at the time, but watch these good players leave and become superstars elsewhere. And it's got to be so tough. Just so frustrating. It's like, why can we not just get this here? I feel very bad for Sabres fans.
Yeah, and it always starts at the top, right? It reminds me of like what I tell my kids all the time. If like you're complaining about like how everybody, like my friend this, my friend that, and you have a problem with everybody, like, or everybody has a problem with you, then maybe you're the problem at this point, right? Like, yeah, and that's what I feel about Buffalo. We have countless examples now of like players like playing at a different level or just being happier once they leave that organization, and like, I mean that says a lot.
Yeah. I grew up, I was already like, in my teens pretty much at that point, but like those early 2000s or like mid 2000s Sabres teams that went on those playoff runs, man, Sabres fans are so great when the team is great. Rick Jeanneret was still the commentator at that time. He had like a Finneganov, Drury, Kotelik, Briere was on those teams, like Connolly, Vanek, Derek Waugh, Brian Campbell. Like, those were such fun teams to watch. I know they're in the Atlantic and they're in the Habs division and everything. I do want to see the Sabres get good again. And it's really hard to envision a path for that, the way they keep trading away these good players. Anyways, that's a little bit of a tangent there, but we will move on to the next game here, where the Vegas Golden Knights are in Pittsburgh taking on the Penguins. Knights minus 205, Penguins plus 168, total of 6.5, plus 106 to the over, minus 130 to the under. I got a little bit frisky, a little bit horny on Friday and bet the Pens in Vegas. Took a stab at them at a big price. Very, 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 very much regretted that. They did not put up much of a fight whatsoever. Ended up trading away half their roster later that day as well too. So a regrettable bet for sure. A big swing and a miss. I am not going back to the well here with Pittsburgh. I think I've learned my lesson. So Money, do you have any interest in this game one way or the other?
No, I think that these are two teams that are playing at a different level right now. Yes, Pittsburgh got the win against Wild, but that wasn't a good game for them. I thought that Jari looked very good in that game. So I mean, and that's nice to see. I am a fan of his, and like local kid, I do want him to do well. But I mean, Vegas is just at a different level right now in the way that they're playing. I think that the price is fair, and it should be where it is, and we're just asking way too much out of Pittsburgh right now to compete against this Vegas team, even at home. Now, it doesn't mean that
Yeah.
we can't win. Obviously, whenever we see these prices like this, it could turn. Pittsburgh could win this game, but I think that it's just asking quite a bit at this point.
Yeah. I agree. I have no interest side or total either way in this game. So I'm just a full pass. We don't need to spend any time on it. We have a lot more games to get to, a lot better games to bet. Like the Lightning taking on the Hurricanes, which should be a fantastic game to watch here. Sounds like Victor Hedman, all signs kind of point to him returning tonight. It has not been confirmed, nothing official, but it sounds like Hedman will be back in the lineup for the Lightning tonight. Plus 116 in Carolina. Canes minus 140, total 5.5, minus 122 to the over, and plus 100 to the under. So Money, are you stepping in front of the Carolina Hurricanes that are now have this black cloud of Mikko Rantanen away from them, or getting back involved with the Lightning, or how are you attacking this one?
Not only am I stepping in front of them tonight, I'll be stepping in front of them in round one when the Columbus Blue Jackets upset Carolina in round one.
I love it.
But that'll be down the road. Yeah, for tonight, I did bet Tampa Bay. I do expect Hedman to return. Excuse me. And yeah, that was a bad game from Tampa Bay against Boston. I mean, it was one of those things where I think that they just didn't show up. I mean, it's not the way that they've been playing. It's not the way that it's not something I'm going to punish them too much for, in my viewpoint of them. So I think they'll be fine. It's going to be a tough game because these games do get pretty tight between these two. So it's just the pricing of it. It's priced with the expectation of Hedman not playing. If he does play, which I think he will, he obviously bolsters that lineup, but we also get the equity within the line as well. So I mean, if we think he's going to play, like, we should be betting Tampa Bay at this point, and then figure out later what we're going to do with that bet. But even regardless of Hedman's status, I do like Tampa Bay in this game, and yeah, that's where I bet them. I like them down to plus 110 here.
Yeah, I bet the Lightning as well. So we got a lot of consensus today, which maybe is a good thing, maybe a bad thing. I don't know. We'll find out. But I do think the Hedman thing is priced in a little bit. This isn't like completely no Hedman. I think there's uncertainty priced into the line. So I do think there will be money coming in for sure on Tampa if he's confirmed. The line will move, but I don't think it's fully like no Hedman priced in here. That being said, so I did bet Tampa. I do like this Tampa team still, despite what we saw on. I mean, they basically played the last two games that were not great against Buffalo and Boston. But like again, Hedman was gone like a few minutes into that Buffalo game, and he hasn't been back since. So it's obviously a very different team when they're missing their do everything defenseman. I would expect a better effort from them here tonight and a response from that last game. I will say though, for Carolina, it's like my grandmother always used to say, one bad apple can ruin the whole batch. I do think that Rantanen thing was a big distraction. It seemed like once he got there, he didn't quite fit in. They found that out relatively quickly within a couple of weeks. And then the not signing, and then the uncertainty, if he was going to leave or be traded, if they were going to hold on to him. I think there's a lot of clarity now that comes with him being gone. Obviously just was not a fit. He's not a guy who's going to get pucks in deep and chase after them and retrieve them and win them like Carolina loves to do. Stankoven very much is that guy. Obviously, he's a significant downgrade. He is not Mikko Rantanen. No one is trying. I'm not trying to claim that he is, but like he does fit their system a little bit better. He's a guy who just wants to be there. He's a guy who's under team control. You get rid of that kind of uncertainty. Stylistically, attitude wise, I think Stankoven is just a better fit. I do think I'm going to be a little bit more inclined to buy into this Carolina market right now, especially if they're going to be downgraded a little bit going forward. Whereas I talked about that. Remember, I told you I don't love how much this market is in on this team. I thought there was something off with Rantanen being there. I do think they're going to be better off now going forward without him. And that obviously I think their ceiling is a little bit lower as a team and stuff like that. But like, I do think getting rid of him there and just getting being able to move on from this is going to help. That being said, Rod coming out and making comments, maybe there's some more turmoil, like maybe it isn't fully done with yet. I think within the locker room, at least for now, that's a good thing. But yeah, if this starts to spill out even more, then who knows? Maybe it could get ugly. I think Carolina got a little bit screwed though in this whole situation. I think honestly, Tulsky did really well considering, because it sounds like Rantanen's team told them that we're willing to negotiate and extend with you guys. So they didn't go into it not having spoken to him. They did talk to him. Yeah. Rantanen was just his team was full of shit. They just called Colorado's bluff. They're like, you're not going to trade us, so we'll say we're willing to sign there, so that you guys will feel the pressure to sign. And they outplayed them. They fucked around and found out. They played themselves, and Carolina ended up getting the worst of it from this. So I do actually feel bad for them.
Yeah, even Jim Benning wouldn't make that deal without thinking that he can re-sign Rantanen, right? So and there's no GM that would make that deal without talking to the other party first.
Yeah, I feel bad for how that because it was Rantanen's team that basically fucked around. It worked out for him. He obviously is in another great situation now in Dallas and locked up long term. He got paid, whatever. But his team lying to Carolina, it was Carolina that ended up getting fucked out of all this. And that's I do feel for them. But they did really well considering they're set up long term here with Stankoven and all those firsts and draft capital, ton of cap space. They're going to be able to do a lot this summer. So definitely a team to keep an eye on. All right, so another double best bet there on the Lightning. We'll move on to the Avalanche at the Wild. Avs minus 178, Wild plus 146, total of 5.5, minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under. So Money, I did bet the under last night in the Avs game. I will talk about the total again here in a minute, but I will give you the floor first. How do you feel about the Avs Wild tonight? Do you think the price is too short on the Avs? How are you feeling about this total as well?
I think the price is fair considering the Colorado schedule here. And Minnesota, the last couple of games, they have stepped up. They are playing well. They're just not getting the results. We saw firsthand against the Canucks where the Wild were very, very unlucky to lose that game. I thought that they carried the play, especially after the first little bit, once that game started, and just they were just unlucky to lose that game. And then the same thing with the Pittsburgh as well. Obviously, Wild are having trouble finishing right now. Colorado does not have that problem. They can, and even last night's game, it was low scoring, but I think that you touched on it as well. That was by design. It was a business trip, right? So Colorado did what they needed to do, and they got that win and they got out. So I don't think that it's going to be as straightforward for them tonight. I think that Minnesota is going to be is going to play a good game, just like the Devils. I do worry a little bit about the Wild about making the playoffs. I do think that they have enough of a cushion, but we talked about this when we were coming out of the Four Nations, where I struggle with the Wild. I'm not that high on them, and I think that credit to them, they stuck around in the face of adversity this season. That a lot of injuries to deal with, but I do feel that they've kind of hit their peak here, and they'll probably sneak into the playoffs just because they have a cushion, but I worry about them.
Yeah, I do too. Hopefully they can get healthy and get some guys back, and because I do think this is a good team when they're fully healthy, a well-coached team and everything. But right now it is pretty bleak. I will say defensive, they've been a lot better. They're just really, really struggling to generate and score right now. It's going to be Gustafsson again here. It'll be Blackwood for the Avs after Wedgwood went last night. The Avs have been really good defensively as well. That's kind of lost in all this. They're scoring a lot of goals, but they're scoring a lot of goals because their power play's been on a heater. It's not like they're generating an insane amount of 5-on-5. They've been good, but nothing out of this world. Power play's been really hot. I think this is two teams that are very familiar with each other. I don't see where the Wild's goals are going to come from right now. They're going to have to play that tight game and really lock it down. I think they're very capable of doing that. The under has taken a little bit of money since I bet it, but I'm still good with it here at 5.5 plus money, which you can find in a few different spots. There is 5.5 plus 100. I'm good with locking that in here. Yeah, so we will get that tracked. I'm good going back to the well here on this Habs under. I think there's still a little bit of room with it. Just it's hard to see Minnesota's goals coming from anywhere right now. And they're going to have to just play that tight Minnesota Wild brand of hockey, which they've proven time and time again. They're very capable of playing, and Colorado's honestly comfortable playing that way as well. So I think this profile is very much like an under game, and we haven't quite reached, I think, the peak of this price where we can still get a little bit of value on it. So we will lock that in as well. And now we will move on to the Rangers at the Jets. Rangers free falling a little bit right now, plus 146 in Winnipeg, Jets minus 178, total of 5.5, minus 124 to the over, plus 102 to the under. Are you concerned about Albert's Rangers?
I'm concerned about Albert. The Rangers, not so much. They are where we thought they would be, right? Like, this is a team that does have inconsistent effort. They didn't play well against Ottawa. Probably deserved a little better against Columbus. I don't think that score was indicative of how the game played. I think that this could be a little bit of a tricky game for the Jets here, coming back from their trip. I don't expect the Rangers to win, but I do think that they can give the Jets some trouble. So, even though there is some value on the Rangers here, in my view, I don't think we're at the point where I would be interested in making a bet on them. So I will pass on this game. I do like the under, but the under already took some money. We're seeing juice sixes. We're seeing some 5.5. So I will end up passing on this game altogether.
Yeah, I don't think we have any goalie confirmations yet, right? I think we're definitely going to get Shesterkin here, though, because of the fact that he went the other day, because Quick went the other day. So we're obviously going to get Shesterkin here. I do think we're on Comrie watch, and I'm not going to bet anything right now. I'm just going to kind of wait and see. They haven't given Hellebuyck 3 starts in a row since the Four Nations break. I think with a somewhat comfortable lead in the division, their eyes are obviously on April. They saw how he kind of broke down in the playoffs last year against the Avs. Played a lot of hockey. That was very tough for him. I think they want to be very diligent about managing his workload. So I do think there's a very real chance we see Comrie here, even with, kind of a bit of a break for them after this game. It's also a tricky spot, first game home after a longer road trip. So I'm basically just going to hold off for now. If we do get Comrie, I will then bet the Rangers. That's basically what this boils down to. But until then, nothing for now. So we'll have to wait and see. There's a chance we find out on the show still. So I will try my best to keep an eye on news, but it is difficult to do that. So if chat can help us out here as well, that would be great. We will move on to the Capitals and the Ducks. Caps minus 210, Ducks plus 172, total of 6.5, plus 110 to the over, minus 134 to the under. So Money, are you quacking away with the Ducks in this game here, or what?
I've started to grow fond of this Ducks team. I like the way that they play. They're a very feisty team, and but the thing is that they're just not very good, right? They had a little run there when they strung together a bunch of a few wins, I guess. I know Montreal and Dallas were in that mix as well, but I mean, since then they've kind of gotten back to what they are, and I think if this game depends on Washington. If they want to, they'll name their score here. So it's not anything I'm going to get involved with. I just I do like watching this Ducks team whenever I can.
Yeah, I have a strong desire to play the Ducks right now, especially with the Caps. They kind of had taken a little bit of money, but it's been bumped back down a little bit again. So that's too bad. We still have plus 172 on FanDuel. Honestly, I think we can lock that in for half a unit. I'll lock in the Ducks for half a unit. That FanDuel right now is kind of best price in market. I think the Caps have developed this bad habit of playing down to their opponents. They've had some sort of underwhelming losses, a few unconvincing wins. I think maybe we'll have a little bit of success fading them down the stretch. At least while it is, they're like kind of playing through whatever it is they're playing through. My main concern here that's kind of preventing me from going full unit on the Ducks is that Dostal and how much he's been playing. I do think he's going to wear down a little bit. He's avoided the blow up games at least. So like, I will not be fully scared off until he maybe gives me reason to believe otherwise. But yeah, I just think the Ducks they're frisky. They're not a good team, but like they're staying in games. They're playing decent. And the Caps have not been able to hit the level that we've seen them at. I think they're able to elevate when they want to. It's just a matter of when they want to. They do have that cushion in the division. They're kind of playing down to these weaker teams, leaves them prone to some upsets. Yeah, that FanDuel number is still plus 172. I think that's good enough here to lock in for a half unit. So we will go ahead and do that before we get into our game of the night in Vancouver, where my Montreal Canadiens are taking on your Vancouver Canucks. Habs plus 128, Canucks minus 154, total of 5.5, juiced a little bit towards the under here, minus 114. So Money, talk to me. This is as big a head-to-head. Both our teams hanging by a thread right now in this playoff race. This is a big one for both our boys.
Yeah, I don't like the Canucks most nights these days, and I don't like them at this number tonight either. I don't know where. Yeah, if you watch the Canucks play the last few games, I don't know how you can justify getting off on that number there. We have Montreal did take some money this morning, and which is justified. I still like the Habs at this number. Yeah, so Canucks. What else can I say, right? Like we just can't have any nice things here. We had one.
You got an under 11 championship. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's the closest I'm going to come to sniffing the playoffs this year. Anyways, that's why it meant a lot to me as well. Yeah, I just don't think that this Canucks team is a very good team right now. I think that there's some internal turmoil with this team, and it's filtered down to the player level as well. So yeah, I think that there's value on Montreal. I do like the under. I did bet the under in this game, even at the 5.5. Canucks, for however much I put the Canucks down, they are a strong defensive team, and they have been playing well defensively. They can't score at all, and I think that that's going to play into Montreal's hands as well. So, and it's not going to be in terms of the crowd and stuff. It's not going to be a full Vancouver crowd either, especially when you see historically when the team struggles, you see a lot more of the Habs fans come out as well. So yeah, I've got the under in this game, but I wouldn't bet on the Canucks at this point.
So did you want to lock in Habs and under? Is that what you're, or you? Or
no, I'm trying to lock in the under.
Just the under, okay. Yeah, so I'm on the under as well. Habs, obviously, with the injury to Doc, second line just hasn't been able to get going. Line is still, I don't know what the fuck Line is deal is. He's had he missed 3 games with the flu in like December, and now he's missing like multiple games with the flu again. I don't think it's a flu. I don't know what's going on there. But something isn't being reported. But regardless, even if Line does end up playing tonight, that second line, Owen Beck, who I think maybe will be a good player one day, but maybe profiles more of a third line center. You can't ask this kid to play second line center right now. He's just too young. He's too raw. He's not ready for that sort of role. They do not have the depth of scoring up front with those injuries at this point. It makes them an easier team to defend when you rely so heavily on one line, Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slavkovsky. And the Canucks have no issues defending as is. I think they should be able to really keep this game low scoring, keep this game under wraps. Habs been playing well defensively as well. It's just really hard to see goals from either side in this game. I really do like this under as well. So we will go ahead and lock that one in as well, as we are firing tonight. Let's see if we're going to fire a little bit more on these last two games, where we will start with the Islanders taking on the Kings. Isles plus 162 in LA, minus 196, total of 5.5. Heavily juiced towards the under, minus 122, plus 100 to the over. You like anything in this Islanders Kings game?
No, I do expect the Kings to start turning their game around a bit. They went through a bad stretch there, which happens to all teams. It's not something that I'm concerned about so much. So I would expect the Kings to start turning it around. Isles, yeah, I mean they beat San Jose and Anaheim, but I mean they just haven't looked good. Even in those wins, I did play the Isles against I played the Sharks. My Sharks against the Isles, and I thought I should have gotten a better result there, and it didn't come through.
That 24 shots in a period or something like that in the first period.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fine. So Sorokin has been playing well for the most part. I just don't. Nothing in this game stands out, and I think in my number, I have this. I have this as a fair line, so I will let this one go. Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. I was talking about the San Jose game.
Yeah. So I have nothing in this game as well. I will just Rob. So like the Kings hadn't been for a little bit, but they were back to being really, really good defensively again in the last couple of games. So we'll see if that sticks, because this is, I don't know, whatever they were playing through. They ultimately are an under team. It's just they weren't for a little bit there, but I do think they'll get back to their identity at one point. It seems like maybe they have now in these last couple of games. We'll see if it sticks. The Isles are not defensively, but what makes them an under team is the fact that Sorokin is just so damn good. It seems like no matter how many games he's playing, doesn't tire out. Whatever, he's just a horse, and they can ride him to kind of stay in this playoff race right now, although they are kind of falling out at this point. I don't think they're actually in it, but like maybe internally they believe they are still. Regardless, that it's Sorokin who keeps them chugging as a team that I'm still scared to bet overs with. So I will sit this one out as well. We will move into our last game of the night. The Preds minus 172. Taking on your San Jose Sharks, plus 142, total of 6.5, minus 128 to the under, plus 104 to the over. Preds have been playing better. Underlying numbers are good. They're winning some games, but I mean, come on, the Sharks have been playing better too. This is a bit of a big number here for the Preds on the road. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it is a big number for the Preds, and I mean, like, bless their heart, right? Like they've like turned it around this season. They're playing so well. They're well on their way to the playoffs. It's just I don't like this Preds team. I haven't liked them all year. Like you have these big numbers on the road. Yeah, it's just too late. It's too late for the Preds. And I think that San Jose, especially at home, the kids really bring it at home. I mentioned I felt unlucky losing that game against the Isles, but we go back to the Sharks. So I will bet the Sharks. I'm just waiting. I'm just trying to time the market entry here. I think at plus 145, it's fine. I think plus 185s are out there. Sorry, plus 145 is out there. So at plus 145, Nashville has been playing well. They have been getting results, but those results were against Chicago, Seattle, and a Boston team that was in shambles at that time. So, I think the Sharks are good here.
Yeah, I agree. That's just way too big of a number for a bad Nashville team. I'm not suddenly thinking they're back to being good because they've beaten up on some really bad teams in their last few games. At least you know the effort you're going to get from the Sharks. I do think at one point their little good run of play that they're on right now is going to go to shit because they have basically traded away everyone. Like replacing Wallman, replacing Zetterlund, like these are really good players, and it's going to be pretty tough to do that. But you're still getting the effort from them. The kids are bringing it, especially at home, like you said. I just can't get behind the Preds laying this big of a number, even against this Sharks team. So I will join you there on the Sharks. I did join you. A lot of bets today. A lot of bets. We will throw together an anytime goal scorer parlay as well. I see a number of people have sent some in the chat already. If you want to send more, go ahead and send some more so we can pick and choose which ones we want to include. I also built a no goal parlay, which did cash yesterday. So hopefully we can cash it again tonight. Before we get into those, I will just quickly recap the best bets from today. We have, I think 8 bets. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7 bets tonight. Columbus plus 143, Ottawa minus 115, Tampa plus 116, Avs Wild under 5.5 plus 100, Habs Canucks under 5.5 minus 107, half unit on the Ducks plus 172, and then the Sharks plus 143. So we have 7 bets tonight. We will do the anytime goal scorer parlay in a second. First, we'll bring up the no goal parlay for tonight. There is a 4-leg parlay for tonight. It is Taylor Hall, Alex Killorn, Andrei Kuzmenko, and Jake DeBrusk. That is plus 143. So we are adding an extra leg tonight for a bit of a better payout here. Yeah, I like that one quite a bit. All right, anytime goal scorer parlay. Let's see here. We have first suggestion was from Ron. It was a Vetrano suggestion.
Yeah, Vetrano. Yep.
I like that. Let me see a number here. Plus 260. All right.
It's a good number.
Plus 260. Yeah, let's do it. Vetrano. So that rules out Ovi, I guess, unless we want to get SGP kind of thing here. There is Sam consensus as well here saying Ovi, Strome, Wilson feasting tonight. I don't know. Maybe we throw Ovi in there as well. We have 2 from the same game, and that could be an SGP stuck into our parlay. Let's do that. All right, let's do that, producer. We'll add Ovechkin in as well. We'll go Ovechkin and Vetrano from that game. We have a suggestion of Nichushkin, Hurdle, or Fantilli. Who do you want from this? We did Nichushkin last night. He did not score for us. We do have an under in that game, so maybe Ovi no goal for Ecolt. Well, that means Ovi's definitely scoring tonight. Good call on JJ Peterka last night, Ecolt. Glad we put that guy in our parlay. All right, let's see here. We got Nichushkin, Hurdle, or Fantilli. Do you want any of those guys? We got Nichushkin plus 220, Hurdle plus 175. That's the worst price in market too.
Fantilli makes sense.
FanDuel lean there. Fantilli. All right, we'll add Fantilli in there plus 260. I'm good with that. So Fantilli, Ovi, Vetrano, and let's get one more. Anders Lee. What do you think? Plus 290.
It's tough, but if it's coming from Jordan, I do trust it.
I know. All right. Let's add Anders Lee in there as well. We also have a Toffoli. Oh, no, Toffoli game time decision. Never mind. Toffoli game time decision. Yeah, that's fair. Barkov score, maybe Crosby. We want to get frisky and add a 5th, like O'Reilly in the late game. Chris Letang.
Not Chris Letang.
Let's keep it at 4. Let's keep it at the 4 there. Let's keep it at the 4. I appreciate the other suggestions, but we got 4 in there right now. We don't want to get too crazy, so we will leave it at those 4. Frank Petrano, Alex Ovechkin, Adam Fantilli, and Anders Lee. That pays 102 to 1. There we go. That is tonight's anytime goal parlay. All right. That'll do it for us. Anything else we wanted to add, So Money? I think we're good here. Did we get a before we go, did we get a Winnipeg goalie confirmation? I don't think so yet, right? Nothing there. Right. No idea if it's Hellebucker thing still. Okay, yeah, nothing yet. So something to monitor. But that's it. That'll do it for us. We will be back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. It'll be myself, So Money, and Rob as we get the three-man panel for the first time in a while. That'll be a fun show. Just the 4 games, but 4 decent games to break down for you guys tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the games tonight and good luck on your bets.